Random samples are taken to the laboratory for testing and ensuring their compliance with such set specifications as fabric width and its resistance to friction, washing and other weather conditions prevailing in the holy city of Mecca. The laboratory conducts several researches on dye stuffs to determine the best ones and on chemicals that are used for making the fabric stronger and more resistant to washing and dirt. The lab has been sourced from the world's most reputable manufacturers in this scientific field. Once the silk is dyed, it is transferred to the weaving division, which is fully automated. Two kinds of fabrics are produced for the Kaaba covering, one with designs containing verses from the Holy Quran, and the other one is plain, on which embroidery works are done later. At the beginning, the dyed hanks are transferred to special reels, which are fitted to the wrap machine, because each one must have a certain number of hanks for the required meter length to be produced. Once the wrapping process is completed, the warp threads are taken to the loom in the desired length and number. The woof threads are grouped together, 6 of them in one cord on cones that are taken to weaving machine. The automated weaving machines at the factory are operated by well-trained Saudis who are keen to keep abreast of any technology development for the improvement of productivity and quality in this industry. Having introduced mechanical weaving, the factory has not done away with manual weaving, this artistic craft we are proud of and which is appreciated by art connoisseurs. And so at the Kaaba Kiswa factory, the manual weaving division is still there operating in concert with the interior garment division to produce fabrics of black and green colors and intricate designs. The embroidered Quranic verses on the Kaaba covering are produced in the Thuluth Arabic calligraphy, which is the best and most attractive Arabic style. The handwriting was done by the Saudi calligrapher, the late Sheikh Abdul Rahim Amin. Next to them, there are more ornamental patterns. The accomplishment of these embroidery and other artful works require immense experience, talent, and precision, and involve considerable time to produce. For the printing operation, 2 long blocks of hardwood are laid in parallel at a distance from each other on a bench. To their sides are fastened 2 kinds of fabrics. One is plain for the lining, and the other one, top of it, is a black silk with some designs. On this black silk, the kiswa belt, curtain, and other pieces of embroidery works are produced. Printing is done by the silk screen method. In a 4-side wooden frame, an artificial silk fabric is fastened inside. The fabric is porous through which fluids can pass through. It is given a photosensitive emulsion. Then the design desired for printing is copied on a transparent plastic board of dark color. Thus, a film negative is produced. This film is photographed and transferred on a silk screen and printed. The silk screen represents a printing mold from which the design can be copied many times to the desired fabric. The printing is done using special inks that are prepared in the division. The inks are pushed through the pores of the silk screen, producing the required designs with utmost precision. One of the most visible features of the Kaaba Kiswa is the embroidery works that involved using gilded silver wire threads. It is a manual operation performed by Saudi craftsmen of high skill and artistic taste. They are works of art which combine precision with visual beauty, executed in such designs and Arabic calligraphic patterns. On a long bench, the embroidery works on the fabric are begun by hand stitching on printed lines and design patterns using wide threads for different count of stitches. When this stage is completed, the embroidered surface is of the same level of fabric. On the first outline embroidery, more stitching is done using yellow cotton threads for the parts that will be embroidered later using golden wire threads, and with white cotton threads for the parts that will be embroidered by silver wire threads. Stitching is carried out on all opposite directions. The result of this operation produces an imposed design of calligraphic pattern. On this base, further stitching is carried out using silver wires or gilded silver wires. At the end, the final embroidered designs and calligraphic patterns look embossed, rising 1 to 2.5 centimeters above the fabric surface. Once all the pieces of Kiswa are produced through the several stages we have seen, the time has come to assemble the Kiswa pieces in one whole. The Kiswa is produced in several large pieces, each running 14 meters in length and 101 centimeters in width. Here, each of the 4 sides is sewn separately according to the length of each side. When pieces are sewn together, extra care is paid to keep the designs on them intact and continuous. Next, the Kiswa is lined with cotton material pieces that have the same length and width of the Kiswa. The joining is done by an automated sewing machine that has a working bench extending 16 meters. It thus could be considered the biggest sewing machine in the world. It is automatically controlled and specially provided with 2 laser equipment that can determine the correct placing of materials during the process. The sewing machine can join the Kiswa fabric with the lining at the same time by sewing a cotton strap that runs along their length behind them. The lining and strap give the Kiswa an indent strength while being hung on Kaaba. On the top side of the Kiswa rope, rings or knots are sewn to the fabric. The embroidered belt and the other designs underneath it are fastened from each side of them to the Kiswa fabric by other automated sewing machines. Besides applying stringent procedures for quality assurance in every production phase, a final quality check is performed by a special committee at the factory before donning the Kaaba with the new Kiswa. The committee makes sure that all embroidered pieces are fitted in their correct places and that the measurements of Kiswa as a whole and in pieces are accurate as intended. On the first day of Dhul Hijjah every year, a ceremony is held for the handing over of the new Kiswa to the senior custodian of the Haram Mosque by the General President for the Haram Mosque and Prophet Mosque Affairs. He also turns over a pouch for the safekeeping of Kaaba key. On one side of the pouch is embroidered the Quranic verse, "God command you to render back your trusts to those whom they are due." And on the other side, "Made by the order of the custodian of the 2 holy mosques." Just after the dawn of the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah, or the standing day on Arafat, the new Kiswa is taken to the Holy Mecca Haram Mosque to be installed on Kaaba. On that day, specialist craftsmen are lifted by an electric crane to the roof of the Kaaba, where the Kiswa's side pieces are sewn together. Each side of the Kiswa is lifted and rolled to the Kaaba roof, where it is firmly fastened and pushed down to open on the side of the Kaaba. After all sides of Kaaba are closed, the corners of the adjoining sides are sewn together. Finally, the Kaaba door curtain is installed. With the new Kiswa completely installed, the Kaaba looks spiritually enchanting. On 4th of Rabi' al-Thani 1403, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia presented the Kaaba door curtain as a gift to the United Nations headquarters on behalf of the Islamic world. It was a symbolic gesture confirming the universality of Islam and its message to mankind. The gift was presented in a special ceremony patronized by the United Nations Secretary General, the Kingdom's ambassador to the United States, the Kingdom's permanent representative at the United Nations, and an official of the Kaaba Kiswa factory.
نالت الكعبة المشرفة على مر الأيام والعصور والتاريخ.
In all ages, in fact throughout history, Kaaba has been loved and revered like no other place of worship or spiritual institution in the world. Sovereigns, kings and sultans have vied for the honor of serving and clothing it. But only in the Saudi reign, it has been specially provided with a Kiswa factory for clothing it, which was set up in the holy city of Mecca. The government of the custodian of the two holy mosques has spared no funds, time or effort for development of its production of Kiswa. And for that reason, the factory's production processes have been changed from craft-based activity to a mechanical one using state-of-the-art technology. The factory welcomes large numbers of visiting dignitaries, crowds of pilgrims, and many male and female university students, as well as pupils coming from all over the kingdom.
وكذلك من داخل المملكة من طلاب وطالبات الجامعات والمدارس. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا